mathematicians, gear up as today we talk about how we're going to multiply mixed
Remember,
number
your I
factors.
will statements
Let's
are your
get into that
goals
now.
for this lesson. They are what we are trying to work on and learn more about throughout our time together today. As we continue on in our lesson, make sure you have your mind focused on these three things and showing them to your teacher. I will read the I will statement first, and then we will read it again a second time together. Make sure you're reading it nice and loudly so I can hear you, but no shouting necessary.
Listen to me first. I will explain the difference between mixed numbers and improper fractions. Read that one with me. I will explain the difference between mixed numbers and improper fractions. The next one. I will define the distributive property. Go ahead and do that one with me. I will define the distributive property. And our last one, I will solve for the area of a rectangle. Read that one with me. I will solve for the area of a rectangle. Nice job, mathematicians. Let's get into it with our warm-up. All right, for our warm-up activity today, we're going to review finding volume. So this activity, we're going to first use this picture on the screen here. Remember, for volume, you want to multiply the length times the width times the height. Let's count the length of this prism first. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 units as the length of this prism. Let's count the width of this prism. There are 1, 2 units that represent the width of this prism. And finally, there are 1, 2, 3 units that represent the height of this unit. When we have those three numbers, we can write the formula for volume like this. Write that formula on your whiteboards. Then multiply those three numbers together. If we were to multiply 4 times 2 times 3, we would get 24 cubics cubed. Let's write that answer on our whiteboards. Ways that we can find the volume of the shape. We can also look at the different layers that are in the prism that we have. If we looked at how many layers of 6 cubes, which we would be looking at the shape from the side that we have 4 layers of 6. If we thought 4 times 6, that would give us the same answer of 24 units. You can cut this shape down into different layers. You can also cut it down into 8 layers. That would be looking at it from the top. There are 3 layers of 8. If we did 3 times 8, it would still give us the same answer of 24 units. And finally, you could look at 12 layers. That's just looking at the shape straight on. There are 2 layers of 12, or 2 times 12 equals 24 units. So there's different ways to find the prism, but the ultimate way to find volume is to multiply all 3 of the sides together and then check yourself if you want by using the layers of the prism to help check your multiplication. We are going to practice this as you guys work to solve the volume of 2 more prisms that I put up on the board. You'll use one way to solve it and one way to check your answer. Clear your whiteboards and I will show you those next 2 prisms now. Here are the next 2 shapes I am challenging you to find the volume of. After you find the volume, remember, use one way to solve it and one way to check it, and then compare with a neighbor. Take time as a class to share your answers and then come back when you're ready to practice some new material today. Pause the video and do that now. All right, mathematicians, let's get started with our first problem today. We are going to find the area of the rectangle you see here. It's 1 1/3 inches by 3 inches. I want you to draw this rectangle on your boards. It doesn't need to be perfect, but we want to still label our sides accurately. If we wanted to find the area, we have the different dimensions, so we don't need to tile or measure. If we want to find the area of this rectangle, we're going to use an area model to help show our thinking. To help us find the area, we're going to split this problem up. So we have 1 1/3. We're going to divide that. So we're going to put a dotted line over here.
and label it that this section represents 1/3 and this section is going to represent 1. I'll put my camera down so you can see 1/3 there. Sorry, mathematicians. So we have 1/3 and 1. We split apart that mixed number. Now that we did that, we're going to pull apart, and we know to find area, we have to multiply the two sides. So for our 1 shape, we have 1 times 3. Write that in parentheses on your whiteboards now. We also split it up so that we would have 1/3 times 3. Write that on your whiteboards now. To find the total area of this shape, we would need to solve for these two equations and add them together. Let's do that now. 1 times 3, everybody, is, call it out, 3. And 1/3 times 3. Take a second to see if we can solve that on our whiteboards now. 1/3 times 3 is going to give us 1 whole. If we were to add 3 plus 1, it would give us 4 inches as our 4 square inches, I can't forget square inches, as our area of this shape. When we add these two products up, we're using it partial product, and that is a property of multiplication that is called the distributive property.
Now, mathematicians, you're going to continue to use the distributive property to help you find the area of rectangles. You're going to take the fraction or the mixed number you're given and break up your rectangle to represent that 1 or whatever your whole is, and then your fraction part. Then you'll multiply the two separate partial products and add them together to get your total. Sometimes this is helpful when you're given a fraction to solve in your area because the distributive property will help make it quicker instead of the numerators you're using getting bigger, and then you'd have to simplify, which is sometimes a little bit tricky. Go ahead and continue working with your teacher on the second problem, and I will see you very soon, mathematicians. Have fun learning.